thank you both so much for coming here this afternoon. I guess it's morning here, but just about the afternoon. Just wanted to start off by asking you if you can give everyone a little bit of a brief history of Thrifty White in Clear Lake.
Well, Thrifty White is the company that purchased the Corner Drug Company, which is an old pharmacy, community pharmacy in the city of Clear Lake, established in 1934 by John Roseland, a school teacher, and his brother-in-law, Guy Whiskerhoff, who was a pharmacist. And John taught during the summer and then worked in the drugstore, or during the winter and worked in the drugstore in the summer. So I give Guy a little relief, and that's when they really developed a big fountain front end and business that many of the old timers in Clear Lake remember as a popular hangout after school for kids. And that was 1934. In 2004, we sold the drugstore to Thrifty White, which Robin knows more about than I do, but it's a community-oriented type pharmacy with drugstores in small communities that still retains the small town image and community pharmacy appeal.
Very good. So long history in Clear Lake. What are some of the trends that you've seen that have changed both within the company locally and then just in the industry in general?
I want to let Robin answer that first because she's involved in the pharmacy business right now, and I've been removed a little bit
Okay,
of what's
sure.
going on. I
Sure.
can see some trends that have developed, but I'd like to hear her viewpoint.
Okay.
Lots of trends. I mean, I grew up, my dad was a pharmacist.
Okay.
And so I grew up with a household with, my dad owned his own pharmacy a lot like Gordon did. And I remember going to work for him when I was little, just, and typewriters and just typing everything. And now everything is computer generated and on labels. And one of the big changes has been the Medicare now has a prescription component to their insurance, and that has been very good for patients. But it's initiated a lot of changes. Technology is probably the biggest change. And what's nice about Thrifty is its niche has kind of been finding smaller pharmacies and communities, and we're employee owners for one thing, so the employees that work in the Thrifty White work in your community and are owners, and you maintain that local, but you still have kind of Big Brother to help you out because there's so many insurance rules and regulations and technology things that you just couldn't afford as an independent person. And Thrifty's been it's a mid-sized change, and it's been on the forefront of a lot of. They were named Innovator of the Year a couple years ago in the pharmacy industry. They do a lot of what they call medication synchronization, and that's trying to get your medications all filled at the same time, so you make one trip to the pharmacy. They will package things. We package things. We have a machine that packages, and it'll label it morning, noon, and night. So if you're taking care of your mother, your aunt, your grandma, and you're setting up a pill pack for them, we can do that for you. And if you're on maintenance medications like blood pressure medication, you take once a day, so you can get it filled every 30 days. They will automatically fill it. They have a big central fill site in Fargo, North Dakota, and they will fill that for you there, and then they will ship it to the local store. And what that does is it enables me and the other pharmacists there and the other techs to have more time to talk one-on-one to a patient when they come in, as opposed to being behind the counter counting pills and putting them in bottles. So technology, I think, has been a big change.
Well, just the computer. I think we bought our first computer in 1978 and spent $17,000 for it, and the computer was just coming into pharmacies. And I think the last computer we bought, that had dropped down, and now that whole thing has changed, and they've got computers that do things and accounting systems that I don't know if I can work in a drugstore anymore after being out of 10 years, just because of the technology changes and
Sure.
the equipment that you deal with to keep everything flowing.
Right.
And we don't even do the accounting on site anymore. We have a scanner, and we scan all the pages up and have a whole bookkeeping department. And it's so much to do. We don't, because you used to have to, like the nursing home, you used to have to handwrite everything, and once a month put it in the computer and bill for it and send out the statements, and you were your own accounting department, which is
Right.
nice. Now I can troubleshoot a little, but then I can say, hey, this is where you
I remember the first nursing home billing accounts we put in a computer, and we'd have to sign all the forms for each patient. I would spend a day a month just signing forms and then mail them all to the state. And I remember the first time we run all the processing through the computer, we hit a button, did that whole day's work in 30 seconds. And that's only gotten more intense
Right.
and more hopefully effective.
Right. Right. Well, are there any other products or services right now here in town that you're offering that you're excited about, or that are new to you or to the community or to the industry in general that feel like something worth talking about?
Well, I would say one would be immunizations. We could we have a lot of people who come in. I don't have the final numbers, but I'm sure we gave over 1,000 flu shots
Wow.
this season. And even you can get your shingles shot, you can get your tetanus shot. That's one thing that's came around. And I don't like needles. And when I went to school, pharmacists did not give immunizations.
right.
And as I said, my dad was a pharmacist, and so my dad's in his 60s, and he learned to do immunizations before I did. And I thought, well, geez, if my dad can
You can do it, so
so can I.
You bet.
Right.
But and that's one thing is I loved the corner drug building, and I loved being downtown, and I loved the fountain. That's the reason I went into pharmacy is I like that. I love the space that we have at the new store. I miss the location. I wish we could have put it downtown or arranged. The drive-through has been tremendous. Your mother with sick kids, you're elderly person, or you've had surgery and you're walking with a cane or a walker, you can stay in your car and come through the drive-through. And we have this really nice room, health and wellness room, like we call it, to come in and sit down, and we can give you your immunizations. And we also do a lot with Medicare D insurance. You can come in and talk to us. You don't even have to have an appointment, or you can have an appointment. You can come in, and we have a computer program where we can print out 3 or 4 of the best choices according to your medications, and help you kind of weed through all that computer work. And that wasn't even a thing. Everybody was pretty much cash.
No, that's all new professional services. And it's nice, you've got well-trained people in the pharmacy that were not being utilized to their full extent. And now I was just in Thrifty the other day and asked Lisa, I said, can I just walk in here and get a pneumonia shot? Or do I have to get an appointment? She says, no, just walk in. So it's just
Convenience.
convenience in healthcare industry, which is complained about being not very convenient for most people I talk to.
That has evolved a lot.
That has evolved.
And I think in a sense too, I think that helps the doctors or the nurses to have more time
Exactly.
when you go to the doctor's office for your visit there as well.
So one thing we also wanted to touch on today was just talking about how the Clear Lake community has impacted your business for all these years.
Well, the Clear Lake community, I was in practice for over 40 years, corner of 4th and Main, and it's part of my life, and the Clear Lake community have treated me very, very well. And I have no complaints of the treatment, and I have been involved in the community. I've just shown Tim our 50th year celebration plaque that we're one of the charter members of the organized Clear Lake Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
And now they're celebrating their 50th or 75th year. And so I was talking to him about the experiences and the memories and the people that you've worked with over the years. And there's a few bummers in there, but most of them were positive experiences. And I think the Clear Lake Chamber has definitely shown tremendous strides when it was just a small businessman's organization that was concerned basically with Main Street, and now it's concerned with total economic development and are involved in the total community and area, which is a plus.
Clear Lake people are tremendously supportive of their local businesses, and that is phenomenal in this day and age. You know, Mason City's not that far away, and there's at least, I don't know, 8 to 10 pharmacies in Mason City, and you could go there in a heartbeat. But people come here. A lot of it is because of the people that work there are from this town. I graduated from Ventura, went to school at Drake, and came back and I'm thrilled to be taking care of people that I know. And sometimes it's nice to be able to look somebody in the eye and ask them a question or know that they know you, and you know, it's not just you're not just a face, you're not just a number. And Clear Lake has been tremendously supportive.
And Clear Lake's a unique community because you deal with people from all over the country, really all over the world. It wasn't unusual to have people from foreign countries stop in and say, I got a problem, can you help me out with this or help me out with that? And there aren't many small communities like that have an opportunity for people that work in it.
No.
And it's really a joy.
And the most of the people from out of the country come during Buddy Holly. And that's because of the surf in the chamber, you know. We get people from England, and they enter the pharmacy, have questions, and used to come to the fountain for that.
Yeah, it's interesting. The soda fountain at one time was a big draw, and people, the old timers like to think, well, why can't that be again? Well, when the soda fountain was the big draw, there were no convenience stores. Grocery stores may have carried Coca-Cola, may have not. I remember when I first started in the business, I think we were Coca-Cola's largest customer out of the Mason City, but there were not all these places. Now you can buy Coke in every corner in every building, and so tremendous changes.
Times have changed, but that's an important part of Clear Lake history that people have fond memories of and think of as a great part of Clear Lake. Was there anything else that we didn't talk about today that you wanted to mention or that you had some thoughts about?
Well, Chamber of Commerce is going to be celebrating their 75th birthday. And when I came to town, the Chamber had a little office on 4th Street, I think, and then it moved across the street to where the deli is now. And usually a local businessman was kind of president of the chamber and had a secretary that ran the office. But I think it was the late 60s, the board said it's time we get people that are trained in chamber work. And I remember a local guy said, well, I'm a pilot, I got a plane, I'll fly up, because there were some people that were interviewing, and we hired a man out of Thunder Bay, Ontario, Bob Middleton, and he was a foreigner, I guess, had no connections with the community at all, and said, if you want a Chamber of Commerce, I can help you build one, but you're going to have to make some changes. And there were some battles, I kid you not, but I think he was the key to the beginning of the chamber as it exists today, which is had a greater total coverage of the community than we ever did, and it became a real catalyst for community development. And there were a lot of other people, but Middleton was the first chamber exec that talked to the board and to the businessmen in a whole different manner than we're going to have a meeting next week and try to show up.
Right.
That takes courage.
It takes a lot of courage.
Change is not easy, but it's. I think the chamber has been phenomenal for Clear Lake. I mean, there's always something going on in the park. There's activities in the Christmas by the lake, Buddy Holly type of thing, and it's good for business. It brings people to town, and that brings business.
Right.
Plus the loyalty of the residents.
Yeah, the jazz festival, or
Oh yes, the Dixie.
Dixie Festival.
Mhm.
I mean, and what a beautiful location.
Oh.
Clear Lake City Park,
Mhm.
the lake, the sailboats, the power boats, the people,
Right.
The people.
and the facilities in the park for handling people and programs. And when you're here in the summertime, there's something going on in Clear Lake City Park every weekend.
Right.
And the chamber is a big part of that.
Right. Makes it a fun place to live and work.
Yeah.